You are 16 years old in a cramped apartment above a shop in Zurich. Your father sits at the kitchen table, his voice sharp as he explains why you must abandon your dreams of the Federal Polytechnic. The smell of his pipe tobacco makes your eyes water. You don't know yet that this moment of rejection will birth the coldest genius of the 20th century, or that your greatest discoveries will come at costs history will never mention. You are 26 years old. You work at the patent office in Bern. Your desk is small. Your salary is smaller. The smell of carbon paper and ink fills your nostrils as you examine applications for improved mousetraps and bicycle mechanisms. But in the margins of other men's inventions, you are sketching equations that will remake the universe. Liesel was born January 27, 1902, when you were still unmarried to Mileva. You never held her. You never saw her face. You lived in Switzerland while Mileva returned to her hometown in Serbia to give birth in secret. You wrote to Mileva asking if the baby was healthy, what kind of eyes she had, whom she resembled. You begged for a photograph. You mused that she certainly can cry already, but to laugh she'll learn much later. You thought this was profound. You had no idea you were describing your own future. When Mileva joined you in Bern to be married in January 1903, she did not bring Liesel. You had a motive to hide your illegitimate daughter. Working in a Swiss patent office, an out-of-wedlock child could halt your career before it began, so you made a choice. Your equations mattered more than your daughter. Your reputation mattered more than her existence. The child seemingly vanished from all historical records. Liesel became a ghost. Not a single letter dated after 1903 contained her name. According to the record, the little girl died at 21 months after a bout of scarlet fever. Your final reference to her came in a September 1903 letter. I am very sorry about what has happened to Liesel. Scarlet fever often leaves some lasting trace behind. That was it. No grief, no guilt, just clinical observation about lasting traces, as if she were another failed experiment. You are 30 years old now. The year is 1909. You have published papers that will make you immortal. Special relativity is reshaping physics. Universities compete to hire you. Your name appears in journals across Europe. But at home, Mileva grows colder by the day. She knows what you sacrificed. She knows what you chose. The woman who helped you with your calculations becomes the woman who reminds you of your cruelty simply by existing. You begin treating her like a servant. You draft a marriage contract that strips away her humanity piece by piece. She must keep your clothes and laundry in good order. She must serve you 3 meals a day in your room. She must not expect any intimacy from you. She must stop talking immediately if you request it. You would not defy your parents even after Mileva became pregnant. Though you eventually married and raised 2 sons, Liesel seems to have vanished, even though no one, not even you, could have induced Mileva to give up her firstborn. But you did something worse. You made her complicit in erasing that firstborn. You made her carry the secret of Liesel's abandonment like a stone in her chest. Every time she looked at your 2 sons, Hans Albert and Edward, she remembered the daughter you left to die among strangers. Every equation you celebrated was built on that foundation of calculated abandonment. The patent office feels smaller now. The carbon paper smell makes you nauseous. You are becoming the most famous scientist in the world, but you cannot look at your wife without seeing the ghost of the child you chose not to save. The mathematics that will earn you a Nobel Prize are written in the blood of a daughter whose face you refuse to learn. You tell yourself it was necessary. You tell yourself it was logical. You tell yourself that greatness requires sacrifice. You don't yet understand that the sacrifice was not hers to make. It was yours, and you have already lost more than you will ever calculate. Einstein chose his career over his daughter's life. Would you make that same calculated sacrifice for scientific immortality? Comment your answer below. You are 35 years old now, and the weight of that choice is about to crush everything else. The year is 1922. You have just been awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for your services to theoretical physics, and especially for your discovery of the law of the photoelectric effect. The telegram arrives at your hotel in Tokyo where you are touring Japan, far from the ceremony in Stockholm. You read the words twice, three times. The photoelectric effect, not relativity, not the equations that rewrote the universe. They gave you the prize for light quanta, work you published 17 years ago. You cannot attend the ceremony. You are too far from Sweden, they say, but that is not the real reason. You cannot face the room full of men who spent years denying your greatest work. The Nobel Committee accepted the evaluation that your theories of relativity were devoid of any real content and have no relationship with physical reality. They found your life's work unworthy of recognition. So they gave you a consolation prize for something safer, something that didn't threaten their understanding of the world. The prize money, 121,572 Swedish kroner, goes directly to Mileva as promised in your divorce settlement. You had been so certain you would win someday that you wagered your future Nobel Prize money in the divorce negotiations 4 years earlier. Now the money flows to the woman whose life you destroyed, whose daughter you erased, whose sons you abandoned. The irony tastes like copper in your mouth. You are 54 years old. The year is 1933. You stand on the deck of a ship sailing away from Europe forever. Behind you, the Nazis are burning books, your theories, your life's work reduced to ash because you are Jewish. The country that celebrated your genius now wants you dead. You have fled to Princeton, to the Institute for Advanced Study, where you will spend your remaining years in exile. Elsa, your second wife, sits beside you on the deck. She is already sick, though neither of you knows it yet. She will die in 3 years, leaving you completely alone. You think about the pattern. Everyone you touch withers. Lieserl, vanished. Mileva, broken. Hans Albert, who barely speaks to you. Edward, institutionalized for schizophrenia, a condition you blame on Mileva's family genetics. You never consider that maybe the madness comes from having a father who chose equations over love. You spend your days at Princeton working on a unified field theory that will never succeed. You are trying to merge gravity and electromagnetism into one elegant equation. You believe this will be your masterpiece, the theory that explains everything. But the universe is more complex than you imagined. Quantum mechanics, which you helped birth, has grown beyond your control. God does not play dice, you insist, but the dice keep rolling anyway. You are 70 years old. The year is 1949. You sit in your study at 112 Mercer Street, surrounded by books and papers and the ghosts of your choices. Your hair is wild and white. Your mustache droops. The world calls you the greatest genius who ever lived. But you know better. You know what genius costs. The atomic bomb exploded 4 years ago. Your letter to President Roosevelt helped make it possible. E equals mc squared, your most famous equation, became the formula for mass destruction. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. 200,000 people dead because you wrote a letter warning that Germany might build the bomb first. You call it the greatest mistake of your life, but you know that's not true. The greatest mistake was much earlier, much smaller, much more personal. You think about Lieserl often now. She would be 47 years old if she lived. You try to imagine her face, but you have no photograph, no memory, no connection to anchor the image. She exists only as an absence, a gap in your life shaped like a daughter. Sometimes you write letters to Hans Albert, trying to rebuild the relationship you destroyed through decades of neglect. He responds politely but distantly. You are a stranger to your own son. You are 76 years old. The year is 1955. You lie in a hospital bed in Princeton, your body finally failing. Your abdominal aortic aneurysm is rupturing. The doctors want to operate, but you refuse. I want to go when I want to go, you tell them. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. You have lived long enough. You have seen enough. You have lost enough. In your final hours, you think not about relativity or quantum mechanics or unified field theory. You think about a little girl born in Serbia in 1902, a child whose face you never learned, whose voice you never heard, whose existence you erased for the sake of your career. You think about the choice you made at 23 years old to become immortal instead of famous will outlive you by centuries. Your name will be synonymous with genius. Schools will be named after you. Your theories will reshape humanity's understanding of space and time. But in this moment, as your heart stops beating, you understand the true cost of your immortality. You chose physics over your daughter. You chose reputation over love. You chose to be remembered by history while forgetting to be present for the people who needed you most. The universe will remember Albert Einstein forever. But Albert Einstein, the father, the husband, the man who could have held his firstborn child, that person died the moment you decided Lieserl was expendable. Your last words are spoken in German to a nurse who doesn't understand. They are lost forever, like everything else that mattered. Subscribe for more hidden truths about history's greatest minds.